Did you know that the average person spends over 4 hours a day staring at their smartphone? That's more than a quarter of our waking hours, lost to a tiny screen. That's practically a part-time job. Imagine what we could achieve with those hours if we redirected our focus. We scroll, we like, we comment, and we repeat, endlessly chasing the next dopamine hit. Social media platforms are designed to keep us hooked, with every notification giving us a little rush. It's no wonder we feel drained, anxious, and unable to focus. The constant barrage of information and the pressure to stay connected can be overwhelming. We've become addicted to the very devices that promise to make our lives easier. Instead of simplifying our lives, they've complicated them, making it hard to disconnect. That's where the dopamine detox comes in. It's a way to reset our brains and reclaim our time. Now, before you imagine me locked in a room with nothing but a blank wall and my thoughts, let me clarify. A dopamine detox isn't about complete isolation. A dopamine detox isn't about completely eliminating dopamine. It's about reducing our dependence on instant gratification and finding joy in more meaningful activities. It's about breaking free from the clutches of instant gratification and rediscovering the joy in simpler things. Activities like reading, journaling, or spending time in nature can be incredibly fulfilling. I decided to embark on a week-long experiment, trading my smartphone for a vintage alarm clock and my Netflix queue for the great outdoors. It was a chance to reconnect with myself and the world around me, free from digital distractions. The truth is, our modern lives are a recipe for overstimulation. We're bombarded with notifications, emails, and breaking news alerts, all vying for our precious attention. Every ping, every buzz, every alert pulls us in different directions. It's like trying to have a conversation in a room full of screaming toddlers, utterly exhausting. The noise never stops, and it becomes impossible to focus on any one thing. This constant digital bombardment leaves us feeling scattered and mentally depleted. Our brains are not designed to handle this level of constant interruption. We lose the ability to focus, to savor quiet moments, and to truly connect with the world around us. The beauty of a sunset, the sound of birds chirping, the laughter of a loved one. All these moments slip away unnoticed. I realized I was guilty of this too. My life was being consumed by screens, and I was missing out on real experiences. My phone had become an extension of my hand, always within reach. It was my constant companion, my go-to for every idle moment. I'd scroll through social media while waiting in line at the grocery store, mindlessly consuming content that added no value to my life. Check emails during family dinners, missing out on meaningful conversations and connections with my family, and even take my phone to bed with me. Don't judge. The last thing I saw before sleep, and the first thing I reached for in the morning, was my phone. I was trapped in a cycle of digital dependence, and it was time to break free. I needed to reclaim my time, my focus, and my life from the clutches of my phone. The first day of my detox was rough. Like, really rough. I had no idea how dependent I had become on my phone until it was no longer there. I felt like I was missing a limb. It was as if a part of me had been amputated, and I was left to navigate the world without it. The phantom vibrations were real, people. Every few minutes I would feel a buzz in my pocket, only to remember that my phone wasn't there. I caught myself reaching for my phone countless times, only to be met with the cold, hard reality of my vintage alarm clock. Boredom set in quickly. The minutes seemed to stretch into hours. Without my usual distractions, I was forced to confront the quiet hum of my own thoughts. It was a strange and unsettling experience. And let me tell you, it wasn't always a pleasant symphony. My mind was a chaotic orchestra playing a discordant tune. To fill the void, I decided to channel my inner domestic goddess. I needed something, anything, to keep my hands and mind busy. I baked a batch of cookies from scratch, which was both therapeutic and delicious. I organized my junk drawer, a truly Herculean task, finding things I didn't even remember owning, and even attempted to revive my long-neglected herb garden. It was a mess, but I was determined to bring it back to life. Let's just say my thumbs weren't the only things experiencing withdrawal symptoms. The garden and I were both struggling, but we were in it together. As the days turned into nights, without the aid of my sleep-disrupting smartphone, something amazing happened. I started to notice things. The way the sunlight streamed through the trees during my morning walks, the sound of birdsong that had become background noise, the taste of my food when I wasn't distracted by a screen. It was as if someone had hit the reset button on my senses. I rediscovered the lost art of reading, devouring books with a newfound focus. I started journaling, putting pen to paper and letting my thoughts flow freely, I even struck up conversations with strangers, engaging in the radical act of real-life human interaction. One particular moment stands out in my memory. I was sitting on my porch swing, sipping a cup of tea and watching the sunset. There was no phone in hand, no social media feed to distract me, just me and the quiet beauty of the evening. And in that moment, I felt a sense of peace and contentment that I hadn't realized I was missing. It was a revelation. The world hadn't stopped spinning just because I wasn't constantly connected. In fact, it seemed to be spinning more slowly, more deliberately, and I was finally present enough to appreciate it. My week-long dopamine detox wasn't always easy, but it was undoubtedly transformative. It forced me to confront my digital dependence, to rediscover the joy in simpler things, and to reconnect with myself and the world around me. Would I recommend it to others? Absolutely. But maybe start with a day or even just an evening of digital disconnection. You might be surprised at what you find. And who knows, you might even enjoy it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with my porch swing and a stunning sunset, and this time I'm leaving my phone inside. Thank you for supporting the channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.